Hello everyone and welcome. Today I'm going to be having a look at the latest release from FMS, the FCX24. We'll be unboxing this rig, going over its features, and of course putting it to the test out on the trails. FMS has quickly gained a reputation for making great looking and unique trucks at a nearly unbeatable value. The latest creation, however, is an all-new platform clearly aimed to compete with the already well-established manufacturers. Will it hold its own against the competition and maintain FMS's streak of delivering some pretty outstanding models? Well, let's find out. Previous FMS crawlers have sort of been in a class of their own, as they tend to be between 1/12 and 1/18 scale or larger 1/6 scale. This has allowed them to somewhat avoid competition, as not much on the market exists in that size, so it's generally hard to make direct comparisons. With this latest release, however, there is plenty of competition, as this all-new truck is advertised as 1/24 scale, meaning there are plenty of other trucks that this rig can be compared to. It seems clear now that FMS is ready to take on the well-established RC crawler manufacturers. In fact, just have a look at what they've named it, the FCX24. I'm not sure, but I think I might know who they're going after, but today's video is just going to be focused on this FCX24. In a future video, I will be comparing this crawler to some other 1/24 scale crawlers in my fleet, so if you're interested, stay tuned for that. Alright, so it's time to get this truck unboxed. This truck comes nicely packed in a reusable styrofoam case, which is awesome. I know I've said it before, but I really do love that they come in these cases, as it makes them so easy to pack when traveling or carry in your backpack while hiking. While I'm being generous with the compliments, I'll say that I like the box art as well. Definitely giving me some Tamiya vibes, but it also gives us a nice first impression of the FCX24's design, features, and some optional parts. A nice manual is included as well, complete with information about the electronics, exploded diagrams, and even a somewhat amusing backstory for this truck. Enough talk though, let's open it up and have a look at what's inside. As you can see, there's a bag full of parts, decals, and other items. Of course, we have the awesome looking power wagon and the transmitter. The truck looks pretty cool right out of the box. Of course, there's a few items that need to be added, which I'll be installing in just a bit, but one of the things I noticed right away is that this micro crawler, well, isn't so micro. I know in general, 1/24 scale RC crawlers tend to be a bit larger than typically more dimensionally accurate model kits, but even with this in mind, with a wheelbase of 138mm, a height of 132mm, and a width of 124mm, this is one of the larger 1/24 scale crawlers on the market. In fact, take a look at this power wagon next to this Unimog, aka the Mogrich, which, as you may recall, is advertised as a 1/18 scale truck. You might think that the 1/18 scale Unimog would be a bit larger, but that's not really the case. The wheelbases are pretty much identical, while the track width on the FCX24 is actually a bit wider. I actually compared the dimensions of this power wagon cab to the dimensions listed for the real thing. I know I'm a nerd, but I found that it's roughly 1/18 the size of the actual cab. Now, with all that said, I don't think that its larger size takes away from this model in any way, but for the fellow scale nerds out there, if you expect to display this truck next to your SCX24 Gladiator, or your 1/24 scale Trailfinder 2 Hilux, or even your 1/24 scale model or diecast collection, it's gonna look a little off, so just be aware of that. Now, the actual frame itself is not that much larger than most of your typical 1/24 scale crawlers. You can pop this body off by simply pressing these tabs here as shown, and the body comes right off. It's a clever way to mount the body, and it works, but at least on my truck, the clips toward the rear of the chassis don't really want to go in without some considerable pressure. The body does have functioning headlights. We'll see those a little later on, but you can simply remove the body completely by unplugging them. The truck comes with a 380 mAh 2S LiPo battery sitting towards the front of the chassis. With the body off, we can get a good look at the all-new FCX24. Not surprisingly, it's pretty much all plastic, with some metal hop-up parts being available, at least according to the box. One of the more interesting hop-up parts, at least to me, well, other than those tracks, are the optional differentials. Right now, all the axles are locked, just like with most RC crawlers. All the wheels spin at the exact same speed, which is great for crawling. But for higher speed driving or more general trail driving, having a functioning differential has several advantages, such as a smaller turning radius. Also, in vehicles of this scale, you can easily put some grease or oil inside of a standard open differential and make it act like a limited slip differential. I think it's pretty cool that they give you that option. If you're just going to crawl around on the rocks, just keep the truck as is, but if you want to leave this thing in high gear and race it around the yard or out on the trails, it's going to work better with some differentials. And since I mentioned high gear, I do want to point out that this truck has a 2-speed transmission, which I believe this is the only 124 scale truck to offer that, so that's pretty cool. We'll see it in action during the test drive. Another cool and pretty unique feature in the scale are the portal axles, which greatly increase the ground clearance, though as a trade-off they do increase the center of gravity. The rest of the chassis is pretty much what you would expect. 4-link suspension front and rear, friction shocks, plastic one-piece frame, foamless rubber tires, and axle-mounted steering servo. I am loving the look of this Dodge Power Wagon body. It's not officially licensed, but really all you're missing out on as a result of that is that the Dodge emblem up front, well, it says Doug instead. That's kind of funny. A very nice scale appearance that would look even better if you wanted to take the time to add some detail to it. Maybe do a little weathering or add an interior, but even just out of the box, it looks great. FMS knows how to deliver a nice looking hardbody. As we open up the bag of parts, you'll see the included charger, wheel wrench, parts for the rear of the truck, decals, O-rings, and a gift part. The gift part I received were some spare parts for the front portal axle, but there are a variety of parts that you may get. I went ahead and assembled the cage, fuel tank, and spare tire that goes on the rear of the truck. Everything went together nicely without any issues. Alright, so let's go ahead and check out the included transmitter. It's pretty compact and basic, as you would expect. Maybe not quite as nice as the ones included with the other 1/18th scale trucks that I've reviewed prior, but it'll get the job done. I do really appreciate the ESC parameter switches up top. You'll use those to adjust the drag brake and a couple of other settings, way nicer than programming the ESC by holding in buttons and waiting for beeps like on a lot of cheap ready-to-run RC vehicles, so that's actually pretty nice. Channel 3 located on the side operates the high-speed, low-speed shift servo, and Channel 4 just below it toggles through the light settings. Nice and simple as it should be. This transmitter takes 4 AAA batteries. After powering on the transmitter, we can install the battery and power on the truck. I'm not really a huge fan of using this flexible O-ring as a battery strap. It's just kind of a pain to get on, and later on in this review, I actually ended up crushing the corner of the battery pack, which I'm pretty sure you're not really supposed to do with LiPo batteries, so I'm planning on just putting in some Velcro and doing away with this O-ring thing, but I guess it works. And as you can see, it's alive. After completing a quick durability test with the body, here's a look at the headlights. A cool addition to this great looking body, and now we can finally get a good look at this truck in all its glory. I decided not to add any decals. I think I might end up painting this body at some point anyways, and even now I think it looks good as is without any decals. This truck comes in 3 colors, which are red, blue, and yellow. It may look good, but it's finally time to get this rig out onto the trails and put it to the test. We took this truck out into the woods and tackled various different obstacles, or at least tried to. I really like that 2-speed transmission. It really crawls when you're in low gear and travels way faster than walking speed in high gear. Here's a little comparison. Before I drove this truck, I wasn't so sure about this 2-speed transmission as I thought it wouldn't really have much of a low gear, but no, it's great for slow crawling. No compromising with this rig. You've got the low gear when you want to slow crawl, and the high gear when you want to throw some gravel. It's really impressive. It's nice having the ability to choose between those 2 speeds, and this truck feels like it has plenty of power with that 130 size motor. The portal axles are great for increasing the ground clearance, but they do contribute to this truck being pretty top heavy. That tall hard body is probably a bigger contributor to that, but it didn't take away at all from the enjoyment of driving. If you wanted to take this thing up a notch though, getting some weight down low and making a few adjustments here and there would really help with the performance of this truck if that's what you're after. There's certainly some room for improvement, but all around I really like it. It's actually one of the more capable vehicles I've driven from FMS due to its great approach and departure angles and short wheelbase. Its high center of gravity though did mean that it struggled in a few spots, more so than some similar microcrawlers I've driven in the past. The FCX24 Power Wagon is an awesome little truck. FMS has entered the microcrawler market with a great piece that offers some features that very few or no other trucks have. Much like their 1/18 scale trucks I've reviewed before, they will appeal to a wide range of hobbyists. Of course, for those more die-hard hobbyists who are wanting a more true 1/24 scale platform or a chassis to build their own custom truck on, they may want to look elsewhere for trucks with a smaller footprint, adjustable wheelbase, and more aftermarket support. For your average hobbyist though, this truck should be a hit, and with a price of what I believe will be around $150 to $170 US, it's priced competitively with other microcrawlers while offering some unique features. If you really want performance, there's potential here, but you will have to work on it a bit. Stay tuned for future videos where I'll be comparing this truck to some other popular microcrawlers, and I do plan to modify this truck a bit at some point as well. If you'd like to get one of these trucks for yourself, you'll find a link to where they can be purchased below in the description. If you have any questions about this FCX24, feel free to leave them in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer them. A big thanks to FMS for sending this model for review. As always, thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.